Саламатсыздар ма, қымбатты достар? Бұл Ақсауле арнасының бірінші шығарылымы. Бүгін қонақта менімен бірге отырған мына жерде Мира Чари деген ханым. Ол кісі осы Калифорнияда орналасқан, Сан Франциско шағанағы аймағында орналасқан Integrative Healing деген компанияның директоры, негізін салушы, президенті. Ол кісі менің емделу жолында өзіме қатты көмектесті. Осы кісінің онлайн курстары арқылы, Zoom арқылы жиналып, осы кісінің жаңағы шаян ауруы, рак ауруын қалай жеңу туралы, қандай да бір құралдарды табу туралы айтқан ақыл кеңестері маған қатты көмектесті. Сондықтан мен бүгін Мира ханыммен бірігіп сіздерге әңгіме құрмақпын. Назар аударып тыңдағандарыңызға рахмет. Mira, welcome to my channel. You are my very first guest and I'm so honored.
Thank you. I appreciate you inviting me.
Yes, I already introduced you to my viewers. I told that we've met when I was undergoing through my cancer healing journey, that I found an information about your company's work. I think at the clinic where I had chemotherapy. So there was like a brochure or a little paper that Integrative Healing would like to invite you to their ongoing Zoom meetings. So I registered and I went through it, and your insights, your attitude that cancer is not only like a medical problem, but the whole person's psychological, emotional well-being problem. It helped a lot. And I liked your attitude and approach in this, and I wanted to share it with our Kazakh viewers. So before we start, can you please talk about yourself? How would you introduce yourself to people that don't know you?
Okay. Thank you for inviting me, Axel. I really appreciate it. Axel registered for our core program called Healing from Within, Healing Cancer from Within. And so I was very happy that she invited me today, so I could share with all of you some of my own experiences, my journey. Like Axel mentioned, the way I came about doing this was a few years ago. I had retired from my finance career, and I was looking back on my life and how I had been impacted by cancer when I was barely 30. And I had 2 small children, and I was given a bill of 2 years or maybe at best 6 months to live by my doctors, who are all very capable. I live in the US and they know what they're talking about most of the time. And so it was a big shock. But at the same time, I was numb, with my emotions. I just didn't know what was happening because it was like the specter of cancer had impacted me, right? And so I somehow got through all of that. And then after I retired from my career, I was looking back and I said, this is perhaps why I should be doing this kind of work to help others. And that's perhaps why I was allowed to live. And that's how I started this nonprofit, to provide supportive care to all of those people who are impacted by cancer. We lose a lot of people to COVID in the last few years, but cancer, it's been year after year. There's been so many losses of lives across the world. And every year it is increasing. It is not decreasing. And there's a lot of research happening, but still you don't see such a significant decline, in the loss of life. And so I'm very happy to be doing this kind of work.
Yeah, I'll be asking about your work a little later, but I want to start about that day when you were diagnosed. You were so young. You had 2 young kids. You had a young family. Where did you find strength when doctor said there is nothing much they can do?
Well, actually, I didn't know I had the strength initially. I was just shocked. And this is invariably what happens to most people when they hear the very word cancer. They're in a state of denial. They can't believe that it has happened to them. This is the normal human reaction to something as life-changing as cancer. The first thing is, no, that's not me. It doesn't happen to me. And you kind of try to go back to a time when you didn't have cancer. You know, your mind is not allowing you to come to terms with the present moment. And that is where you need to be in order to move forward, right? I didn't know that much at the time, but I knew fiercely that I wanted to live and I wanted to raise my children that I had brought into this world. And that was something that I was determined. But I was started to explore my emotions, started to take a few moments to understand what was going on with me. And I realized I was very stressed and that I was suppressing all that stress by not expressing it, by not talking about it, and just freezing. You know, this is a very common reaction that a lot of people have. It's this freeze, fight, or flee. You know, you've heard of that, right? So I was in the freeze mode initially. Then when you start exploring your own inner emotions, that's when you understand that every one of us has the resilience to find the strength that is within us to build back our immune system. So what happened? What causes cancer is some form of stress. This is something that all medical practitioners in the world agree, that it is some form of stress that impairs the immune system and triggers disease. When the stress levels build up, and the stress could come in the form of environmental stress, emotional stress, genetic stress, from genetic factors, any number of things could cause that impairment. But we also have this immune system that we can rekindle and rejuvenate. And the only way to do that is to understand our stress levels and calm our bodies down first.
So the first thing people hear about the diagnosis, they should take a look at themselves and at their stress level.
Yes, and also recognize that the body is just one part of you. That when you think about health, it is not limited. And the World Health Organization defines health as follows. It says it is not simply the absence of disease or infirmity. It is one of physical, social, and emotional well-being. So when we seek wellness, when we seek health, we think it is only physical in nature. But we are holistic human beings. And when we think about ourselves as a whole, and we address our mind, our body, and the whole thing, then we can tap into our innate ability to heal.
So back in time, you grouped yourself, you said, I have the strength in me. Fast forward how many months, then doctors said, okay, you were right, we were wrong. Did they say that at all?
They didn't ever say that. They were happy, of course. I did find a very good, positive, encouraging oncologist who was supportive of my determination to live, which I expressed to her. But another thing that happened, and this is the common humanity that all of us have. When I was in the hospital and I was just coming out of my anesthesia, I woke up and I saw somebody sitting just like where you were sitting. And she was so immaculately dressed and she looked so great. And I'm like, I didn't know this person. And I said, who is this? And I asked her and she said, I am a volunteer from American Cancer Society. And I was exactly where you are now 5 years ago. And when she said that, I was like, wow, that is She is 5 years from her cancer diagnosis. So if she can do it, I said, I can do it too. So the hope, the first expression of hope came to me at that moment. And immediately I told her, I hope I will be like you, and I am going to visit other patients as soon as I come out of this and help them as well. And I did. For 20 years, I was a volunteer for American Cancer Society. And I visited other patients who had gone through breast cancer, who were in a similar situation. And I would share my journey with them. And it kind of, it was therapeutic for them. It was therapeutic for me to remember, even after you're well, that life is about ups and downs. And how we perceive any given situation makes a big difference. Our attitude makes a huge difference, because that is the only thing we can control in our life. Nothing else we can control. We can only control our attitude. So how we perceive any given situation can make a huge difference in how we navigate through that journey and how we even emerge from it. And so, from 2 years, it's been well past 35 years. And I'm well and I'm thriving and I'm continuing my work in this. And every day I talk to somebody and I'm able to impact their lives. It makes me feel so great and makes my life worth living. It's a purpose, right? We need to find our purpose. When we help others, that is the best purpose that we can find.
You said a great thing. I 100% agree with you that how do we perceive things?
Yeah.
It's only things that we can control. So I just want to maybe explain to our viewers that, for example, you got this diagnosis and doctors say maybe it's stage 4, metastasis, something. How do you perceive this? Will you cry your eyes out and say, okay, I'm going to die? Or you will say, okay, this is a challenge right now. Maybe I can overcome, right? Is this you're talking about?
Well, it's a very good point that you make, because, see, the doctors often share statistics. So, they'll say 60% chance of your recovering or 80% chance of your recovering, etc. And this is their training, okay? But they don't really have control over your life, really, right? And we have to recognize that they are human beings and that they are telling you what they know, right? And when it comes to statistics, we have to recognize when it comes to you, it's 100% or 0. So the 60, the 80, or whatever. So let's make it 100%. Let us find every opportunity, every modality that we can to empower ourselves, to find back our way to health.
Okay, great. Yeah. So actually, you once said one joke, and that so helped me. Maybe you already forgot. So when I shared with you that doctor, oncologist said to me that it was very bad, prognosis are very grim, you said, is he a god of death? I was so, it was so funny. And next time he said something like this to me, I would imagine him like he is a god of death, and it was so funny, just my fear would disappear. So,
yes.
He might say statistics, but you said statistics is nothing in your life. You have your, no
exactly.
one
can determine
how long, yeah, because they're not gods of this, right? Or
exactly.
Yeah. So great. So you a few years ago you understood that maybe it's your purpose of life. Now, after your very successful career in finance, your kids are grown up, everyone is fine, so you can determine your life and resources and time towards other patients. And I really thankful for that, because you already impacted my life too. And the fact that I'm sitting here very well, in part, maybe because of your work. So can you please explain to our viewers who doesn't have this access to your course because they don't know English and they are very far away. So what are the main things they have to know when they're on a healing journey from your course? Can you please what should they pay attention first after this? I mean, emotions, maybe what emotions, how do they cope with fear? Anything you want to share? Just the most useful things.
Yeah. So when we first hear the word cancer, it's so impactful, right? And so a lot of emotions go through us. Like I said, the first thing is denial. No, it didn't happen to me. And then other emotions come surging in, like fear, anxiety. Fear, like when I talk about fear, it's about fear of pain, fear of suffering, fear of, how it would impact your family, your friends, how is it going to impact my life, what's going to happen to me. All of these things we are fearful of, right? We're fearful for the future. And then we have anxiety. We are so anxious because you don't know what is happening. What are the next steps? What do I do? How do I manage this? Right? And then you have anger. Sometimes some people feel very angry. I didn't deserve this. I did everything right. Why did this happen to me? I never smoked a pack of cigarettes. How did I end up with lung cancer? These are very normal, pertinent questions for patients, right? And so the why me is a big factor as well. And then sometimes people even feel guilty. Oh no, I'm causing suffering to my family. I'm causing suffering to my spouse. It is not fair. You're already suffering and then you're suffering for others. So it's like stress upon stress occurs. And then when you hear the diagnosis and the treatments that are going to come, right, that you have to do, then you have side effects that you have to manage as well. And then if you have surgery, there is an injury response. And so there is more stress, physical stress that happens. And so there is stress upon stress from the point of diagnosis to managing these emotions, managing the side effects. So when stress upon stress happens, we need to find a way to reduce that stress. That's the first thing we need to do, is to release some of that stress that is building up within us, right?
How do we do that?
So the thing is, the number one thing that we can do is to first educate yourself. Educate yourself about your diagnosis. And so that is one less thing that you're thinking about. Find a good doctor team that you can trust, right? That is those two things automatically you have to do. So those two, the trust factor in your medical team is really important. So that's number two. Then you have to consider how to bring about certain practices on a daily basis, okay? Because when we have negative emotions, those are common, those are normal, those are human reactions. There's nothing you can do about it. We are going to have these emotions, fear, anger, anxiety. But we also have to realize that dwelling in that zone for a long time, staying in that zone of fear, anger, anxiety, all of those, can impair the healing process. So how do we trigger the healing? Because one thing, the symptoms are being addressed by your trusted doctor team. But what else can you do to empower yourself? One is knowledge. Secondly, is to do certain things that on a daily basis that changes the trajectory of your thinking from fear, anxiety, anger to calm, collectedness, mindfulness, and acceptance of our current situation. And that is very hard to do, right? I mean, how can you immediately accept something life-changing like cancer? It's very hard. So, but also we need to move from the state of fear, anger, and anxiety to come to acceptance so that we can evolve beyond to a fully healed state. It will take time. It's not an instant thing, and it's something that we need to practice on an everyday basis. So we have to change our thinking from negativity, that is, oh, it's me, this is the end, I'm in this tunnel, I'm suffering, I'm never going to come out of this, to believe that there is light at the end of this tunnel. Other people have emerged from it. I too will. I am going to find the strength within me to tap into that strength and build up on a daily basis. How do we build up on a daily basis? Is to consider thinking of all the good things that are happening in your life in the midst of this chaos. Instead of dwelling just on cancer, think of cancer as a phase in your life. It is one more thing that is happening. I have other things happening. I have children. I have a beautiful home. I have medical care. I have good health insurance. It could be any number of things. Okay, I'm just giving you some examples, right? I have a supportive spouse. I have a supportive family. So when you sit and think about all those things, then your mind starts shifting, right? It's not only this negativity, this negative thing that is cancer. The other thing I would recommend, would suggest, is think of cancer as an experience rather than one of pure suffering. So though it is very hard to do when you're going through it, because oftentimes when you think of it as an experience, we will start learning from that. We'll start taking some things from it. Yeah, now I find out that I have such a supportive family. I'm so blessed. So certain things start changing when you start shifting the pattern of thinking from I could never get out of this to I am going there. I am going to that path and I'm walking through it and I'm going to get out on the other side. That is what we have to believe. And it is something that we have to work on a daily basis. Your mind is a monkey. Constantly other thoughts will come in. And, oh no, the doctor said this. So and so, it happened to them and they're gone. And all these things will come into your mind and disrupt your path forward. But we need to pull the tether back.
Sorry for interrupting. Does it mean that you stay daily basis working on it? So whenever this negative thought coming in, I have to see it, or can you?
Well, you can observe it because what we're trying to do is it's not humanly possible for you to immediately change, and especially when something like this is happening. Everybody goes through negative emotions. Sometimes people talk about it. Sometimes people suppress it. People do have fear, and it's normal. It's human. Your body doesn't know whether it's a bear chasing you or whether it's cancer, right? It immediately reacts. Even if your mind, you're trying to keep your mind calm, your body is shaking, right? You feel that in your gut, that gut punch, they call it, right? So all those things will happen, but we need to tether it. So every time, for every emotion, we have certain breath work that we can practice. So when you find a certain emotion that is dominant, for instance, let's say fear, right? That's a very dominant feeling for everybody. Then extending the exhale, like breath is such a wonderful gift we all have. It's a wonderful energy source that we don't always recognize and tap into. So, and the breath is the bridge between the mind and the body. So when we bring in the mind and the body to work together using the breath, then we can start managing these emotions one at a time. So, for instance, when you're feeling that fear, if you breathe in a way that your exhale is longer than your inhale.
It will get fade away.
Then slowly, I mean, you have to practice for about a minute or two. Your body starts calming down. Because the other thing that you can do is you can block off your right nostril and breathe with just the left. Have you done that?
Yes.
Yeah. And the reason that works is that the left nostril is connected to your right brain, and that is the seat of your emotions. There is a reason for everything that we do.
So should I be closing my right nostril?
No, you block off your right and you breathe with just the left.
Okay, so some breathing techniques like exhaling longer, closing your one of the right nostril. How long it should be like a day, like 5 minutes, an hour, 24 hours? I mean, just give us some.
Yeah, well, at least 5 minutes, I would say. You can start out with 3 and then you can build up.
Every time we feel fear or any anxiety,
and you
stress,
have
anything,
to go into the hospital, you have a doctor's appointment, you're nervous, you don't know what it's going to say, you can practice the right blocking off the right nostril and taking 10 breaths with just the left nostril. You'll immediately see the effect of it.
The fear was gone.
The fear subsides. It's really significant. Like I said, the breath is a powerful source of energy that every one of us has, and we need to tap into that. The other thing is, consider living life as you always did before you had cancer.
So do not change habits, routines?
Don't change your routine, because when too many changes happens in our life, we are shaken as human beings. We find it's a lot easier when you try to keep your same routine as much as you can. There are certain things you may not be able to physically do, and I recognize that. But let's say you like to meet some people, have coffee, put on a mask, meet up with them. If you like to go for a walk every day, continue to do so. The oxygen is good for you, and
nature is good for you.
And nature, living in harmony with nature is a wonderful gift for you. So things like that are really important. Yoga is an amazing modality to practice. And there has been so much research in this world about the impact of yoga on those impacted by cancer. And there have been such positive outcomes. And there's been so much research on it. You can look it up. You can look it up on our website also, integrativehealing.care.
You have yoga lessons?
We have a lot of links, educational material.
Okay.
And it's www.integrativehealing.care.
Yeah, and our viewers can translate in the web browser. So it automatically translates into their language and they will see.
Yeah, exactly.
So breathing work, yoga, keeping
mindfulness, becoming aware of who you are, what your needs are, and expressing them, kind of sees the nature of yourself as a child. Become simple and speak up rather than hold things in, because when you're focusing on healing, you don't want other things to come and impact you. So-and-so didn't call me. I'm wondering what's going on with that person. Why didn't they call me? We don't want to think about all of those things. Just pick up the phone and say, hey, I would love to talk to you. And you take the initiative because it is you who are suffering. So try to do things that make you happy, that make you whole. And all of those things will really help you.
Do you mean like simple things like, I don't know, playing with Lego or something? I mean, anything that make you happy, right? Not the big things.
Yeah, exactly. That's not a big thing. You don't have to carry the weight of this on your shoulder, but it can simply be like anything that makes you, joyous. Find that moment of joy every minute that you are here, and that is the most important thing. How we live when we live That is important, right?
You said that when you perceive cancer as experience, you learn from it. What was your biggest lesson from your cancer healing journey? What did you learn from it?
What I learned was that life is going to have ups and downs. Before cancer happened, I was so perfectly healthy. And, people always would think that, wow, everything's so going so perfectly for her, right? And I didn't really think about it that way until the cancer happened. I'm like, wow, my life completely changed, right? You find out at that time that when you sit and think, you not only find out that you have the strength in you. Like my mother always thought I was a very timid person, that I was very like reticent, reserved, quiet, and almost timid. But I found that I was actually not so, that I had a lot of strength in me and courage to face what came my way. The important thing is not to bury yourself under the sand when a problem occurs, is to raise your head, find out more about it, forge forward, you know. Sometimes when we have something negative happening, we like to pretend that it is not happening, right? We like to bury our head in the sand. And instead, the important thing is to find out that you have the strength, come out of it.
How do you know that everyone has the strength in it? In the beginning, you said every person has the strength in it. How do you know?
Because, that has been sort of my experience talking to other patients and also doing this program for the last 7 years. I have come to realize that I'm not exceptional in any way. Everybody has that strength. It just takes them time to discover it. Sometimes people find it quicker, right? That is why it is important to connect your mind with your body, because every cell in our body is interconnected. And the mind is a superpower. If we can calm our mind, if we can tame our mind from running in 100 different directions, building on a wall of worry, and bring ourselves to here, to this moment, find the joy in this particular moment, right? Then we'll start understanding who we are.
Before cancer diagnosis, I never understood when someone would say, you accept it, acceptance. I knew what this word meant, but I never understood it fully. Now I think I understand it, but if in case our viewers do not understand the word acceptance, you already also mentioned it. Would you just explain it maybe with examples, what acceptance is truly?
Acceptance is basically being here, recognizing where we are at this present moment, not in an imaginary world. By saying, like, for instance, if you say, I wish I had done that, I wish I could have, I wish I would have, I wish I should have, and all of these are wishful thinking. That's not real, right? When we accept, yes, I have cancer, I am going to come out of it, then you will. But if you keep going back to a time when you didn't have cancer, and when you keep punishing yourself for things you did not do, there is remorse, regret, more negativity that you're building up for yourself, right? We are like, oh, I regret, I wish I hadn't packed my cigarettes. No, you didn't have any control over it. Nobody had any control over it, right? So we have to recognize that is a but you can use your superpower, the mind, to bring in that quality of healing to your body, because your mind is connected to your body.
I wanted to ask you about one more thing, about families and friends of people who impacted by cancer. So you talked to them, right? The people whose friends or family members are impacted by cancer. So if they are watching us right now and they want to help their loved ones, and they're maybe under immense stress. I can imagine. I sometimes think for our spouses or parents or kids, it might be even more stressful than for us. You know what I'm talking about? Because in my case, I knew that I will be all right, but they didn't know, and they suffered more. So if you would say something to them, how should they cope with their stress, or what can they do for themselves and for their loved ones?
Yeah. Okay. So for the loved ones, we have to recognize that the loved ones are also impacted by the fact that you're going through cancer. It impacts them and they feel helpless sometimes. They feel sometimes they even want to replace themselves for you, it all depends, right? So we have to recognize that, but also for the loved ones, you have to recognize that this is hugely impactful for the person who's suffering. So they need to support them 100%, listen to what they need, and be there emotionally as well as physically. When I say emotionally, is to pay attention to what they're feeling at that time. Like if you're feeling angry or they're showing anger, understand and not react to it, and because anger is another common reaction a lot of people have. Why did this happen to me? This is not fair. So just give them time to come around. Give the patients time to heal, find themselves, and help them emerge from it by being there and listening, and not be overprotective as well. Like sometimes loved ones tend to coddle you too much, and then you feel like you're not normal. We need to feel normal. We need to feel the same. That is important to us. We don't want that change of everybody treating you like a China doll, like porcelain that you might break. You don't want that either. So give them space. Just ask them, how can I help? Rather than just coming and crowding them and giving them things that they may or may not ask for. I remember a time when somebody had come to my place. I'd just come back from treatment and they were doing my laundry and I'm like, oh no, did I throw away that shirt that had a hole in it? So ask them how you can help before you go barging in to help. I think that's the best thing to do, is to pick up the phone, say, I'm here for you. What can I do? That is the simplest way to handle it.
I want to add one more thing. If your loved one is diagnosed with cancer, please do not pity them, right?
Yeah.
That's
nobody wants pity, because you don't want to be a part of a pity party,
Yeah, just I think,
empathy, not sympathy.
What is the difference?
The difference is empathy is kindness, treating them like you would treat yourself. But pity is more like looking down. You are, inferior to me and I need to take care of you. So that is not a good thing. So empathy is treating the other person as you would like to be treated.
So I assume you seen lots of people who was undergoing their cancer healing journey through your program. I don't know, have you counted how many people did you?
I haven't, because I've been doing this for about
7 years.
This is our 7th year.
So it's like
So we have quite a lot of people coming through. I should.
Maybe you should count.
Because we are in many hospitals. We are associated with hospital groups as well as cancer research organizations, cancer support organizations, and so forth, so that we can participate in so many different ways.
But I believe it's hundreds and hundreds of people. So did you notice something in common in all of them? Like, who are winners? Who are cancer-free right now. So, I believe quite a lot of people who had this cancer in their past, now they're living their full life. What one thing or maybe two things that is general, like common in them, like what quality in these people?
Good question. Actually, regardless of what type of cancer
Yes.
and what type of treatment, everybody goes through emotions. Whether it's fear, anger, anxiety, guilt, any number of negative emotions, everybody goes through it at some point of time or other, at some intensity or other. Sometimes people may feel more anger. Sometimes people may feel more fearful. But all of them, everybody has emotions. And sometimes they don't recognize it until later, but they have those emotions. And when we have the class, it'll always come out. And when you see others going through those same emotions, then you realize, yeah, I went through that too. And you're able to talk about it. It's very important to explore and talk about these emotions and not suppress them. Because when you suppress them, you create energy blocks in your body. And that kind of hinders the healing. We want to start healing, get well. So we need to explore these emotions, release them, and move towards acceptance. Now, once you do that, once you accept, the other factor of acceptance is that the opposite of acceptance is fight. When you fight anything, it creates more stress, right? So we want to reduce the stress. And when you accept, you go with the flow and you can emerge.
When you say accept your emotions, for example, it's saying, you said releasing your emotions. So if I recognize that I'm angry right now, and I said about it, told about it to someone, does it mean that I already released, or I should cry, or what is like a sign of that I released this emotion?
Many things. Okay, you mentioned specifically anger.
Yeah.
Most of the emotions, whatever you're going through, it's a good idea to write about it. If you're not able to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so keeping a journal is wonderful. So when you write itself, it starts reducing the amount of it. When you sit and you think and you meditate, then when these emotions come out at that time, and then you observe, yes, I am angry. Sometimes people don't know they're angry.
Yes.
It's only when they meditate, when they think about, reflect upon themselves, they realize what they're feeling. Then you say, I'm feeling angry, right? I'm not an angry person, but I'm feeling anger. So you're now distinguishing yourself from that emotion. You're separating yourself. So now you're observing, and then that distance is created. That in itself dissipates the anger. Yeah. So talking about it, writing about it, like journaling, and then understanding that what you're going through by meditation. Those are the three things, right? And then the fourth thing is a physical thing. You can practice a breath practice to manage the anger. And there are many practices that you can do, like I just mentioned. So that is another way too.
If our viewers, they don't have access to like good, beautiful breathing practices, if you just Google some breathing techniques, everything is good? Like just any breathing technique is good?
Yeah, many breathing techniques are there. I like the box breathing, the square breathing. The box breathing is very good for anger. And box breathing, basically you inhale, you hold, you exhale, and you hold. And so with each of them, you keep the count to be the same. Let's say you inhale to 4 counts, then you hold to 4 counts, then you exhale to 4 counts, then you hold to 4 counts. So it forms a pattern like a box, like a square. And that's why it's called box breathing. And it's very useful. It's very helpful to do that. can also count from 50 to 1, and then slowly that volatility of anger gets reduced. It is okay to feel angry. People should recognize that it is normal, it is human. Don't be hard on yourself for feeling any of those emotions. Everybody goes through them. The idea is not to dwell in it for too long, because then it kind of impairs the healing process.
Is there anything else very important for people to know to heal that we didn't mention? Like maybe you
I
can.
think we covered a lot. So we started with understanding that the mind is a big player in this equation of bringing in the mind to tap into the healing ability of your body, to instruct your body to heal. And we can do that by bringing in the breath, because they bridge the two. And that's the easiest way to do it. We learned that. We also learned that it is important to live as normal a life as possible, live in harmony with nature. And so we learned those things. We also learned that it is important to recognize the emotions we go through and release them either by sharing, by writing, or by practicing breath. Probably all three will help in combination. Then we move towards acceptance. Then we need to get beyond that. Then we start recognizing other things that we must do, like practicing kindness to ourselves, not expecting us to immediately jump up and be well just because we saw this video. No, it's going to take some time, and we need to work on it on a daily basis. Consider things that are good that is happening in our lives as a daily practice. That starts building up that foundation to start shifting your mind. It's called cognitive reframing of the mind. So then afterwards, we start moving towards self-love, kindness, not being hard on ourselves. And then we move towards even gratitude. I am grateful for all these wonderful things, the blessings that are in my life. You start considering what are all the things that are out there that I got that I never even asked for. What did I receive from this universe that I never requested? How did I get all of that? So we start moving, considering our blessings, and that starts building up our life even more.
Thank you for reminding me. I realized we haven't touched this part of your program. So when I asked about feeling of guilty myself, you taught us a beautiful technique that you can erase being guilty by being grateful. Did I remember right?
You're absolutely right. It's a wonderful way to convert something that is considered negative, that can impact you in a bad way, to a positive, beautiful thing.
Fear, anger, guilt, these are like most common feelings that patients feel, right?
People also feel very anxious, that they're not in control of the situation, right? So things that they can do is, keep a journal, keep a schedule of all the things. Write down the things that are most important to you. Go to the top one and take that and only work on that. The one thing that is most important for your health and your healing. That is all one must focus on at the time of treatment. Everything else, delegate. People ask you, what can I do for you? You tell them what they can do for you.
Like
they'll feel good, you'll feel good. You're establishing that friendship, remember. So that, and then when they are not doing so great, they're going to ask you. So the friendship only gets strengthened.
And also I asked you a question, what did you learn from your journey? But I haven't told about myself. So when I learned from my story was that I was not kind to myself. I was always like beat myself emotionally. I did something, oh my gosh, I was so wrong. You shouldn't have done this. And after this, after cancer story, now whenever I do, I never scold myself.
Yeah.
Am I doing right?
Yes,
Is
absolutely.
it important for
It is
everyone?
very important because this is a part of self-love, compassion for yourself. When we practice self-love and compassion towards ourselves, then we are able to give to others as well later. So at the time of cancer treatment and all of that, especially be very kind to yourself. Treat yourself like you would treat a friend. If somebody else was suffering, what would you do? You would rush out there, help them, make a pot of soup, whatever, right? So do the same thing for yourself. If you need some time, some quiet time, take that for yourself. If somebody wants to visit, you're not ready, it's okay to say, can we do this another day? Their friend will understand. If that person is a friend, they will understand.
Yeah.
So it's very important to practice self-love and kindness to yourself. Perfection is overrated. The pursuit of perfection must be abandoned completely. What you are is good enough.
And my last question, can you please tell about your organization? What do you do? How people can access it?
Okay. So our organization is called Integrative Healing. Integrative healing basically means you're trying to integrate other modalities to your allopathic protocol that most people follow, right? So bringing in other equations like the mind as well into the picture to bring in a holistic approach to treatment, to add additional layers of healing to what people already receive at the hospitals. So our core program is the one that we talked about, Healing from Within. And we offer it as a 6-week course. We offer it as a seminar, a 2-day seminar, a 1-day seminar,
It
etc.
is free.
All our classes are free to those impacted by cancer. Yes. And absolutely, that is our goal, to keep it always free.
How is possible? Do you have some donations from some funds? Or?
Well, the hospitals do support
Okay.
us, and then we do get some grants from people who find this to be an important cause to support. I volunteer all of my time.
Yeah.
Some people are volunteers. Some people have to be paid. So it's kind of like it works okay for us. Money is not an issue. Then other programs that we offer as a part of the integrative healing approach is ongoing wellness. So after we finish the healing from within, we have breath work and restorative yoga classes.
Thank you, Mira, from bottom of my heart for all of your work you and your colleagues do for us, for everyone. It's really huge, because if one more thing cancer taught me, it was that kindness is the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
And I saw kindness in your work, and thank you again for your time today.
Namaste. Thank you all for coming.